Yo, 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 what's going on? All right, so brand new week, brand new market update. Let's get straight into it. So we got the DX with Total One. So this continues on its overall trend. The Total One market cap is headed towards 4 trillion in the short term. Um, Hold on right there. So we're headed towards 4 trillion in the short term, right here, roughly. We're probably gonna hit that 4.5 trillion. It's possible this quarter, to be honest. Very, very possible. I wouldn't doubt it. Um, yeah, that's basically where we're headed. It's not really, you're just sticking to the trend. The second half of the year. We had this is what a lot of people are not understanding right now. If anybody's bearish, it's because they just don't know what they're doing. The fact that the market had a lot of sideways price action in the first half of the year is a very bullish sign for the second half of the year. Why? Because let's say we had a lot of bullishness in the first half of the year, then we would have eventually gotten at least one quarter of sideways price action, right? And we got sideways price action in the first half of the year, and we still got upside movement. So we're getting upside movement with the sideways price action. And then in quarter three and quarter four, it's going to be way quicker because we're getting towards the end of the overall cycle. So the market, it doesn't have space to go sideways for another few months, if that makes sense, basically, which is why I believe things are about to turn up a lot, and everything is pointing straight to the upside. So we can easily have a good, we got 6 months, well, I'll say 5.5 months left in 2025, right? This month is already bullish. So we can easily, out of the 6 months, we can easily have 4 months of bullish candles. And we can have six too, if I'm being honest. But one of them can be like a bearish month and then it turns bullish at the end and then that momentum continues. So yeah, it's very, very possible that like something like this, this is what I'm saying. We could have probably like one bearish candle and then a continuation. I'm not gonna be able to predict exactly how it's gonna look. We're just riding the wave and we'll adapt once the market, starts showing us things, which is why, that retracements will be signals post is so important. And I'll tag that in this post as well. All right. So yeah, total one, total two, total three, they're all on track. They're all on track. They're all about to make their new all-time high. So um yeah, you just gotta sit back and let these things play out. So we'll take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is in price discovery. This is on a strong trend, and this is basically the leader of the pack, right? So, the fact that Bitcoin, um, look, it had this sideways price action in late 2024, well, mid 2024, then late 2024 we pushed, and then the first half of 2025 we had this sideways price action, and now, well, since April we've been pushing. So April, May, June, we still got some upside on within that first half of the year on Bitcoin. So now we have another 5.5 months left. And look, you take a look at the yearly candle, 5 months and 18 days. You take a look at the 6 month candle, we're already above the previous 6 month candle. We got this retracement last time when we went above this previous 6 month candle, we got a retracement. In this case, we are already above it and the dips are surviving. So that's massively bullish. Bitcoin is going to continue to rise, which is going to be good for the rest of the market. That's all that matters. So, yeah, right now it's cooling down a bit, but this thing, it's definitely about to continue pushing. We did mention, I've been mentioning for weeks now, 120K was the next target. So, that is a level, an overall psychological level. Maybe it cools down a bit, maybe retraces a bit, but it's pointless to go against this trend. Literally just wait until it keeps, until it shows a stronger signal of weakness. Um, that's going to be a bigger catalyst to where, for example, if you take a look at when an asset goes parabolic and a retracement is inevitable, please understand that things like this don't go up forever. It's gonna flatten out, it's gonna calm down, and then it's gonna continue to rise in the next cycle, within the next few years, right? Um, so yeah, Bitcoin is still on its nice run. It's gonna have a retracement, maybe at 130, maybe at 140. It's gonna retrace somewhere here, and then it's gonna continue higher until the end of the year. The cycle should be ending within quarter four. I personally believe, it should run till the end of the year just because of all the institutions, ETFs and whatnot. That's what I believe. But that Bitcoin should run until the end of the year. And then 2026 will be the top of the yearly candle, and then it will be a bearish yearly candle. You could literally look at the yearly time frame on Bitcoin and you can see. Remember, look, 2018 bear market. Matter of fact, look, 2017 bull run, right? 3 bullish years in a row. One, two, three. 2018 bear market. Then 2021 bull run. One, two, three yearly candles. 2022 bear market, bottom. And then three. One, two, three. 2025 bull market. And then 2026 bearish candle and continuation. It's literally the cleanest chart. And it's crazy. What I'm showing you guys right here, people are still, till this very day, blind to this. It's crazy to me, but you guys get to see it firsthand. And yeah, it's very, very simple. Don't complicate this game at all. XRP BTC. So we're gonna start covering this chart a lot more. I dropped that post recently. Basically, the levels I mentioned were, I have alerts right there. So right here, right here. Yeah, basically these levels over here. So once, look, this is obviously on a bullish trend, right? Obviously on a bullish trend. The next important target is going to be inside of this range over here. Once the market like heads into the zone, XRP might see a retracement. This is the XRP BTC chart. So we do want to see like where Bitcoin is at once we get there. And I went over all of that in that post. I'll also tag this on in the synopsis. I'm not gonna go over all of that again. But yeah, this is basically a very important chart. And the higher Bitcoin goes, the more possible of a higher price for XRP. So, that's pretty exciting news. And this is all data. Like there's nothing, no hype numbers. I'm not calling for a $10,000 XRP. If XRP was to go to 4 digits, um, per this specific chart, Bitcoin would have to be at a way higher price too. So I just keep things realistic. If it was to happen, then literally XRP, BTC, the market, the price would be right here. It'll be like somewhere up here. It'll create a brand new high. Is that possible? Yeah, it is, but you just can't ignore certain levels on the chart. So, to say that the market is gonna head all the way up here, while ignoring the specific data that's on the chart that has not even been invalidated yet, it's foolish. You can't ignore data that hasn't been invalidated yet. Now, if the market had done this in the past, let's just say we already had done this, right? And then we were right here, then that would be interesting because then we can do something like that. But this area is very important. And this is basically one of the areas I discussed in that post. So we'll be paying close attention to this on a weekly basis as well, now that things are picking back up. XRP is looking great. This is back at, it just hit $3 earlier this morning. We're headed towards $4 and above. Let's see how we react up here because I believe this thing's about to go crazy. I truly hope. I don't know what exactly it's gonna do. I'm just riding the wave with you guys. Um, but take a look at previous price action over all-time high. We're technically like right here. And look how it literally just pushed straight up, right? So we can easily, and this is the monthly candle, this month can easily close like around $5, $6. Very, very possible. And then we just, open up right here. And then the next month ends up pushing towards, maybe $10 to $15, just like I did over here. And then we maybe get like a retracement somewhere over here, or maybe we get another third month. This is another one. XRP had a good 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of sideways price action. So I discussed this in that previous market update to where this, you know, is a signal that we can get more bullish price action in the second half of the year. This is just how I look at the market. So, very, very possible. We just gotta ride this wave. Literally ride this wave until, the end of this quarter or quarter four, literally. And, if you take a look at Bitcoin and XRP usually is gonna in the past it had topped out after Bitcoin topped out over here specifically. So it's within the same range, but it may be a little different this time, but basically this is why we gotta pay attention to everything all at once all together. So to just look at XRP and to ignore Bitcoin and its cycles and the data is foolish. It's foolish. Anybody doing that is misguiding people, misleading people. So gotta pay attention to everything all together. But overall, XRP is looking great, and this is definitely headed towards a new all-time high soon. So we just gotta sit back and let that happen. All right, so Sarah is starting to show some weakness. Yeah, get ready for alts. They're gonna get a nice pump out of nowhere. A lot of alts are just gonna just start pushing. I do believe that the Bitcoin dominance high is in. I posted this on X. If you take a look, we've been looking at this for a minute. It passed this high right here. I wasn't too sure until last week when I saw that it hit this zone and it wasn't showing any type of strength. I just seen this pattern a million times. So I just, I see what's happening right now. And now it's continuing its overall weakness. So within the next few weeks, we should see the the Bitcoin dominance go below 63, and then below 60. And then, it's definitely about to take a hit pretty soon. That's what it's looking like to me. All right. So yeah, syrup is still at a good spot to add. It's just cooling down. If you are mad that it's retracing right here, I mean, everybody should be floating in profit. It's just cooling down. This literally ran while everything else was doing nothing. So, this is ahead of the game right now, which is a good sign. Because once everything continues to run, then syrup starts running, it's just gonna be even better from these entries down here. All right, SHX. So SHX is doing great as well. Last week had a beautiful weekly candle closure, and it happened towards the end of the week. So nice little sneaky price action. But yeah, last week was great. We ended up coming all the way to 1.5 cent. This week is starting off slightly bearish, completely normal. Yeah, this we can probably close above. We can maybe hit 2 cents at the end of this week if this candle decides to flip bullish. Midweek. It's only Monday, so it's early. Very, very possible. So we'll see what we could get towards the end of this week. And I see some rumors of possible exchange listings on the way. So maybe that's a quote unquote catalyst that pushes the price. All right, Velo. So yeah, I was stacking a lot of Velo over here. So it's all those buys are in profit now. We got out of the zone, as you saw. This has been a pretty stubborn area, but it's cool. You can't really just gotta adapt. But I always have been telling you guys this was a strong accumulation range right here. I was just seeing, because this was a very similar move to this over here, as you can see. Look, so it made the low, and the price moved higher, and then it came into a demand zone, right? And then it pushed. We made a low, price went higher, came into the demand zone, and then we should push. So this overall push over here from the demand zone lasted roughly it lasted 200 days, right? Roughly. So let's see if we can push for the next 200 days. And from this specific low, which was in June, we can possibly get a nice push into January 2026. And that would literally be, where I believe the overall market should be topping out if, we do get a little bit of a push into the beginning of the year, which I have mentioned is a possibility. So another thing I wanted to show you guys was how you take a look at this zone right here, right? This specific zone. So if you see when price was pushing into it, right? It hit it, retraced, pushed through it. What's going on over here? It's a very similar scenario. It's a zone that price is slowly pushing into, pushing towards, right? So meaning we should do something like this. And I've been mentioning this for weeks, but it did it once and it should do it again. So we should come in here, probably reject it a bit, continue pushing, and then finally push through these levels up here. Maybe some type of, aggressive push makes this go way harder through these levels. That's what we want to see, to be honest. We don't want to see like this was a pretty good push, but we want to see more aggressive candles if we want to see these higher prices up here. If we can get this literally in a matter of like 2, 3 weeks, that would be beautiful. That would be perfect. Because then we could get up here in a few weeks, cool down, and then we still got months left to hit these higher levels. So, we are cutting it close, but for those of you who've been here before, a lot of crazy things can happen quickly in crypto. So I'm not